What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in London, England tonight. Oh yeah, we are going to be checking out UK versus US. British plugs are better than American plugs. We're going to find out. Farmer side checks one up. We ain't going to waste no more time. We're just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Just getting set up for Christmas. Took out the Christmas lights. And I had to buy these lights when I moved to the UK. These here, they're really good. The thing about it though, is that they use a British plug. Also really good. So I took a good look at this and it's really impressive. I want to show you why the British plug is better than the US standard plug. Okay, so these are the three prongs we're going to be talking about. This here is the UK three prong. Has a lot of safety features built into this. This is the US two prong. And here we have the US three prong as well, which is that third prong is for grounding. But primarily we want to start out by just talking about the UK three prong and what really makes this prong special and what makes this better than the US version. And to really talk about it, you have to start at the other end of it, which is at the receptacle. Now, when I was a kid, it was really fun, and this is wrong. You should never do it. This is dangerous. Don't ever do it. But as a child, parents used to tell their children in America, don't ever play with the electric plugs and the sockets because they could shock you. And as a child, I still did it. We stuck wires in there. We stuck knives in there. And there's only, a blessing and grace of God that I'm still alive. So that is alleviated here in the UK because these two prong areas here are what's going to be hot. Right? And if you could see in here, it looks like there's a little cover right there. And there is, by design. This, if you notice, this is what we call the ground. I believe it's called earth here in the UK. If that's wrong, correct me in the comments. It's a little longer than the other three. So there are actually little covers that cover this. So when the ground goes in first, the covers retract. Oh. That is so cool. When the ground goes in first, the covers retract, which will allow you to plug in safely. That's pretty safe. That means that a child can't come up to this and stick a wire in there, can't stick a finger in there, can't stick a pencil in there because it's actually blocked. Here as we take a look at the US receptacle, there's nothing blocking it. There is no safety built into this system. You can just plug it in, pull it out. Plug it in, pull it out.
But this is kind of what I probably didn't notice the countries. Yeah, but I would think that what the UK has would be a standard in terms of in modern times. Is it just this, maybe like this company, the way that they have the plug that's from the US? Or maybe it's just certain US companies, because I would think that would be a standard. It's the safer way because most of the plugs that we have is similar to what he's saying there. But I didn't realize where it's manufactured. I gotta check on that when I'm done with this video.
Now another thing is when you have really nice appliances in the US, one prong is a little bit larger than the other prong. You can see that's a little larger if you could make that out. The shape is a little bit different. When I was growing up, that shape was not as pronounced. Here you can see this hole here is a little larger than the other side. This is definitely an improvement as far as safety is concerned. It didn't used to be so clear. We used to plug things in, flip it around, plug it in the other way, which is also dangerous. So you can plug things in halfway, this way, that way. Another key feature that's built into the UK plug for safety is sometimes things aren't all the way plugged in. They could be partially plugged in, halfway plugged in. And this is a really nice safety feature. Here you can see the ground prong, and you don't see the other two at the bottom. See if I get a good angle on this. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at that black, that's insulation. So if this is only plugged halfway in, if it's only partially plugged in, the ground can be touched, but the parts that can shock you, not so, right? Can't be touched.
Very good.
In the sense that not available to shock you. And that is another key, really wonderful safety feature built into this prong. Back to the US side. Take the same thing and you can plug it in, right? But it's very easy on the US side to have something halfway plugged in and it'll actually work. It's halfway plugged in, it'll actually work and send power through. But if you look, there's actually exposed right there. Those prongs are still exposed. That prong is live. That is a live prong. If it's halfway plugged in, if this was plugged into the wall, it's plugged into itself. It's not plugged into the wall, it's dangerous. But if this was plugged into a wall and this was halfway plugged in, if a small child could get a little finger in there, a pencil could get pushed in there, a piece of metal, it could, just not as safe. Of course, you push it all the way in, but when you pull it out and you go halfway in, this is enough for it to be, for current to flow. This is enough for current to flow, but it's not all the way in. That is a key safety feature that is missing on the US side as far as appliances is concerned and plugging things in. Now, another key, when you plug in something on the UK side here with this prong, I want you to listen to this sound. Did you hear that?
Yes, almost like a clump.
I'll do it again. Like that is snug as a bug in a rug. That is very snug. It takes a bit of effort to pull it out. It takes effort to plug it in. You hear that snap?
Yeah.
That is good. It's firm. It doesn't just slide out. I mean, I have to really pull it to get it to come out. On the US side, it's just not quite as secure. I mean, it's still nice. These are brand new. This is brand new. So there's a nice tight fit there. But it's just not the same as far as the amount of effort it takes to put it in and pull it out. These things over time can be loose. I've had things just kind of fall out. You'll get plugs sometimes, and this is the truth. In the US, you actually sometimes have to go in there and take the plugs and you kind of pull that plug apart with your hands to kind of widen it out so that it fit more snugly in the receptacle.
What he's saying is so true. I've experienced it, but I never think about where they are made in terms of those two he showed there. Sometimes you just assume, especially we have a lot of things made in China. So after a while, when you see everything is made in China growing up, you just stop looking. You just assume everything is made in China. I mean, that's good observation.
It is very common to have to go in those older appliances. Again, these things are new, so they're better engineered. But a lot of older appliances, you have to kind of spread those prongs out to make them fit snugly into the receptacle. And the last thing about the UK plug system that is really wonderful is this. Oh, I turned off my light. Turn my light back on. The ability to individually turn on and turn off a switch at the switch, which is really a really wonderful thing. And so, turn my light off again, turn the light back on. If you're concerned about, that plug-in here is built into the home as well. There's a little piece right there. And it's a little further recessed. There's not as much light that you can shine in there. I'll see if I can shine my light in there with my cell phone so you can see that what I displayed on those are covered. See those little covers in there?
Yeah.
Still covered. Right? So if you're not putting in that grounded prong, you can't stick anything up in there that could be dangerous and cause danger to yourself or someone else.
True.
That is just a wonderful, wonderful piece of engineering. And it is one way with the UK, has the US beat as far as prongs and plugs and things of that sort. So I'm going to keep sorting Christmas lights and getting everything ready for the holidays. But I hope that explains a little bit more about why I believe the British plug is a much better option and is much, much safer than the US plug.
What he's saying is so true. But I'm kind of surprised that the US hasn't used that safety aspect. You would think that would be, I wouldn't say universal, but something at least the US would apply to their electrical workings. I'm a little confused as to why they haven't. I don't know what's his field of work, electrical, because to observe that you have to have some understanding, because I never realized that some of the little safety things that he mentioned, I recognize it, but he went in to detail with it as to why it's made that way. After all, he's not just a bread man, he's an electrical man as well. I'm gonna give him that. And I'm wondering if other countries have more of the British aspect in terms of those plugs, or more of the American aspect. I'm wondering. I gotta check on that. If you guys know, hit me up in the comments. Or is it just a manufacturing thing for certain companies that just still use that style, when it is shown that there are other methods that are way safer? Hit me up with some more information about this electrical stuff. Yes, the UK versus the US. Is there another video that goes in depth? Doesn't have to be from him, but from someone else that breaks down even further. Yeah. If you want to see that long term archer that I do, hit me over on Dyce Reacts, where I do music reactions. This is where I'm going to be making my exit. So until next time, peace out.